Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something totally fascinating. It's a look at what the source material calls the matrix of modern society. Basically, we're going to unpack this really provocative theory about the rewarding social game. It explores how our modern industrial society systematically shapes exactly why we do the things we do. So let's jump right in.
I want to start by asking you a question. Are we all just acting? Seriously, think about it for a second. When you show up at work, when you're updating your social media, or even just talking to a manager, is that the real, authentic you? Or is it kind of like a subconscious performance? The theory we're unpacking today argues that, for the vast majority of us, our daily routine is actually this elaborate act, and it's so deeply ingrained in us that we don't even realize we're standing on a stage.
Psychiatrist Carl Jung once had this great line: "The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, the world will tell you." The source leans on this idea to argue that modern society basically creates a fake world. It puts this immense pressure on us, assigning us a socially acceptable, completely false image. You see, when we lose touch with our true, authentic nature, society is more than happy to just hand us a script and tell us exactly who we're supposed to be.
So why on earth would we accept a fake script? Well, the source points to one absolutely crucial missing link: rewards. Society basically forces this transformation from authentic people into inauthentic people through a relentless system of incentives. We are continuously rewarded for inauthentic behavior, for fitting in, for being obedient, for performing the role society assigned us. It's this constant pursuit of rewards that literally changes who we are.
And this whole dynamic takes place inside what the text calls the rewarding social game. By definition, this is a system that requires people to act in ways that impress authority figures purely to earn rewards and avoid punishment. In our modern industrial society, acting inauthentic is constantly incentivized. Think about it. You get a promotion, a gold star, or a bunch of likes on social media, not necessarily for being your true self, but for effectively playing the game and impressing the people who hold the keys to those rewards.
Philosopher Alan Watts pretty much hit the nail on the head here. He said, "The whole social game is a game of pretending to be what you are not." And the reality is, we don't always have a choice, right? To pay your rent, to buy groceries, you are basically required to navigate this system. You kind of have to put on the mask, act the part, and impress the boss or the client. The social game literally pays the bills, which makes it this incredibly powerful, practically inescapable force in our lives.
Because of this intense survival pressure, society generates its first key player, the actors. The source defines actors as fake people who fall for the temptation of these societal rewards. But here is the most fascinating part about this concept. They chase these rewards by acting without even knowing it. They've adopted their false, socially assigned image so deeply that they've literally forgotten they were playing a role. Acting just becomes second nature. It's totally subconscious. They are completely lost in the character they were trained to be.
So, according to the text, this creates a pretty profound divide in society between real people and fake people. Real, authentic people know exactly when they're acting. They recognize the mask, they don't take it seriously, and they only put it on when it's absolutely necessary to survive. Fake people, on the other hand, subconsciously live to defend their false self. They've acquired the habit of chasing rewards so completely that they've lost the ability to even recognize that their daily behavior is actually just an intricate performance.
Now, if you've got actors, you obviously need directors, right? The text calls these controllers. These are the uncompromising teachers, the strict parents, or, that micromanaging corporate boss holding the keys to your yearly bonus. The source argues that controllers are essentially just fake people with authority. They habitually demand inauthentic behavior. They reward those who successfully act the part, like laughing at a boss's terrible joke, and they punish the authentic ones who refuse to conform.
And this leads to a brilliant, self-replicating systemic loop. Step 1. Controllers reward inauthentic obedience. Step 2. That pressure molds real people into actors. Step 3. Those obedient actors, fueled by their addiction to rewards, climb the social hierarchy and eventually become controllers themselves. Step 4. The whole cycle repeats. The source claims that our modern society naturally and continuously replicates this inauthentic social structure generation after generation.
So how does a massive system like this actually keep itself running? Well, the text asserts that our institutions serve as massive training grounds. Take this powerful quote from Noam Chomsky. The educational system is a system of indoctrination of the young. The source argues that systems like education aren't just about teaching you facts. They're about conditioning, They are the initial environments where we're aggressively trained to seek approval from controllers and we're rewarded for obedient acting way more than for natural, authentic curiosity.
Think about the specific tools used in these training grounds. We're talking grades, standardized tests, job titles, trophies, and even school or corporate uniforms. The text argues that these aren't just innocent milestones. They're actual behavioral conditioning mechanisms. Like a uniform forces identification with a culture you have to defend. A grade rewards memorizing over asking difficult, disruptive questions. They train us to constantly focus on the payout of some future reward, permanently pulling us away from just authentically existing in the present moment.
The source draws on philosopher James Cars to explain this dynamic by comparing finite games with infinite games. The social game we've been discussing, that's a finite game. It's theatrical, played on a stage to impress controllers, and designed to declare winners and losers. Contrast that with an infinite game, like playing catch in an open field. You interact authentically just for the pure joy of continuing the play. In modern society, the text suggests we are almost exclusively trapped in finite games.
But here's the catch. Playing a finite game 24/7 has a massive cost. We're talking severe stress and burnout. The text highlights a profound psychological toll here. Expending tremendous, subconscious energy every single day just to seem normal and defend a false image, it is exhausting. The source explicitly connects this constant, inauthentic striving for rewards to our modern epidemics of anxiety, stress, and physical disease. It is literally hard work to be an actor all the time.
Actor Jim Carrey actually captures this feeling perfectly. He said, "Depression is your body saying, 'I don't want to be this character anymore.'" The text uses this to beautifully illustrate the physical and mental rebellion that happens inside of us. When the exhaustion of the act becomes just too much, the body and mind start to break down. It's this deep internal rejection of the exhausting task of maintaining a rewarding false image.
So, how does the author conceptualize this entire system? They use the very famous metaphor of the Matrix. But importantly, this Matrix is not some sci-fi computer simulation. We're not talking about plugging into a machine. Rather, modern industrial society itself is the Matrix. It's a fake world driven by wealth accumulation, controllers, and rewards that masquerades as absolute reality. We are caged by our cultural programming, entirely convinced that the play we're acting in is real life.
There's this quote by Terence McKenna that gives us a really crucial perspective on the source material. Culture is a mass hallucination. It emphasizes how deeply embedded and normalized this fake world appears to the people living inside it. If you're an actor completely consumed by the rewarding social game, this hallucination looks exactly like reality. It's only when you manage to step outside of it, when you stop chasing those carrots dangled in front of you, that you can actually see the system for the structural illusion the text claims it is.
Okay, so is there an exit door? How do you actually escape this matrix? The source describes this process as awakening. But don't get it wrong, it isn't some mystical event. It's highly practical. Awakening is simply losing the habit of chasing rewards. When you stop obsessively trying to impress controllers just to earn external validation, you stop reinforcing your false image. Without that constant exhausting effort to defend who you are supposed to be, your false ego naturally starts to disintegrate. You basically sober up from the intoxication of societal rewards.
I want to leave you with a really provocative thought. If you truly manage to unplug, if you break the habit of chasing rewards and finally step outside Plato's cave, could you ever go back to viewing those shadows on the wall as reality? The text suggests the illusion shatters permanently once you see it. So I invite you to look at your own daily pursuits and just ask yourself, are you writing your own script right now, or are you just reading the lines you were handed? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.